Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today's August 17th, 2010, and I am Darko. Welcome to this War on Terror, Liberty, and Sovereignty news. This first article that we have up is titled Analysis, China and U.S. Playing Risky Game on the High Seas. This is from Reuters. And tensions between the U.S. and China, they're heating up. Tensions between North Korea and the U.S. and South Korea are heating up. Tensions between the U.S., Israel, and Iran are heating up. And the relationship between Russia and the United States has not been as good lately as well. So it says, analysis, China and U.S. playing risky game in the high seas. And it says, the game of military bluff that China and the United States are playing off the Chinese coast could erupt into a full-fledged crisis, hitting the arteries of global trade if Pentagon worries about missteps ever come true. It says China has been investing big slices of its growing wealth in modernizing its military, turning its once creaky navy into a blue water fleet that can project power far from its shores with nuclear submarines and maybe one day aircraft carriers. China is sending naval vessels further afield to the waters off Somalia to fight pirates, and most recently to the southern Japanese islands to Tokyo's angst. And as far as this pirate crap goes, yeah, they actually created an entire naval strike force, task force. It's called the Sino-Russian Naval Force. It's actually Russian and Chinese together, all to fight Somali pirates, these people that operate out of dinghies and who claim that they work for Goldman Sachs, a subsidiary of Goldman Sachs. So I don't really believe in that, or I don't believe in this, the reasons for that. It says that also worries Washington, the world's dominant power, which keeps a hefty military presence in the Asia Pacific. Well, the United States is not located in Southeast Asia. China is. So that's their interest, not ours. But see, we're flexing our muscles over there, waiting for the North Koreans to attack us. See, we're creating a new NATO in the Southeast Asia with Clinton down there saying, it's our interest. This is our interest. So the U.S. is really trying to start a world war is what they're doing. Whether they're trying to do it or not, that's what they're doing. They're starting a world war with messing with China in the Southeast part of the globe, staging exercises with Russia, mocking a hijacked plane while their country is on fire, Russia that is, and then holding exercises in Southeast Asia as well with the South Koreans, and the North Koreans aren't too happy about it, neither are the Chinese. And they've held over 3 exercises now, so. And as far as the tanker that went, and this is all based off what? It's all based off junk, garbage, information, which is what? Oh, the South Korean tanker was attacked by the North Koreans' torpedoes. It was torpedoed. Well, no, I just covered it recently with reports coming out saying that a lot of the South Koreans actually believe that it was just a mine and that they weren't attacked, and they're not really all that pissed off at North Koreans for that. And the Russians and other countries believe, well, they've investigated the incident, and they've pretty much came up with it wasn't a torpedo, it was basically just an old mine. But hey, now we got exercises in the U.S. On the ground and in the waters by North Korea as a result, much like Palestine, much like Pakistan, where, oh, now we got all these rains and floods going on. You know, it sucks to be Pakistanis, but hey, now you got 1,000 U.S. Marines, boots on the ground. You got drones, you got helicopters. So hey, things just keep working. Things just keep seeming to be working out for the U.S. as other people go through all these tragedies. China and the U.S. battle to assert presence in the South China Sea. U.S. warships are staging their 3rd set of exercises in less than a month off the coast of China in a show of force that has prompted fears of prolonged maritime tensions in the region. That's right, North Korea keeps saying, if you don't stop, we're going to attack you. If you don't stop, we're going to attack you. If you don't stop, we're going to attack you. But the U.S. isn't listening. U.S. warships are currently staging their 3rd set of exercises in less than a month off the coast of China in a show of force that has prompted sharp criticism for Beijing and fears of prolonged maritime tensions in the region. The U.S. joint maneuvers with the South Korean and Vietnamese navies come hard on the heels of the three largest long-range training exercises that the Chinese Navy has ever held, and a series of clashes between Chinese ships and foreign fishing boats in disputed waters on the South China Sea. A little bit of background: the deployments illustrate a potentially dangerous clash of interests as each side seeks to assert its presence. China views the region as a vital shipping conduit for its energy imports and a key naval route to the Pacific and Indian Oceans, while America insists as a global naval player on its need for unimpeded passage on its role as a Pacific power. It says wrestling match over the South China Sea. And so when I'm just reading this, the first thing I can think of is Germany in World War II. Between in basically the UK and the West, the US, who funded Hitler and Germany. The whole point of World War II wasn't really about Nazism or communism or socialism. I mean, because that's basically what we became, right? A bunch of Nazis and fascists and socialists. So we didn't really defeat that, and so I don't really believe that's the purpose of us going over to Europe and fighting that war in World War II. Basically, what I'm getting at is that they didn't really, the people that funded Hitler and the Germany and the Reich and all that, they didn't really disagree with Nazism. They just disagreed with Germany being the focal and center point for the world economy, the global economy. That was it. So, if a war breaks out between the West and the East, China, Russia, Iran, against Israel, Europe, and the United States, it's going to be over who controls the Southeast Asia part and that economy, who controls the economy. Right now, the powers that be, the ruling families, don't want to give up their little power that they have. The Rothschild family, the Pindar holders, the Pindar, that's what they refer to themselves. They don't want to hand that power over to another ruling family, and it's supposed to be a transitional period. So I expect a world war to take place in order for that transfer of power to happen, and I guess it's not going to happen peacefully. So when they say the U.S., I don't think it's the U.S. I just think it's basically the Anglo-Saxon establishment. Whew. Okay. China targets U.S. troops with arms buildup. The Washington Times. Pentagon cites anti-access missiles in report. Those things look fun, don't they? I just read an article from Press TV where Iran next week will be showing off their new weapons. They have all kinds of new weapons and gadgets. This is right after they will open up their new facility, their new nuclear facility, August 20th, 21st. China is aggressively building up military forces capable of striking U.S. forces in the Western Pacific and elsewhere as part of the Pentagon calls an array of high-tech anti-access missiles, submarines, and warplanes in its latest annual report. The report to Congress on China's military power released Monday also warned that China's military is extending its global military reach beyond the weapons buildup to wage regional war with Taiwan and the United States. The report also questions U.S.-China military exchanges, noting that Beijing is using the visits and meetings for political influence operations and intelligence gathering. And they refer to this article, which I'm going to be covering in my economic news portion, which is a recent assessment that China has surpassed Japan as the world's second largest economy in terms of gross domestic product, highlighting Beijing's expanding global power. And these reports don't come out for no reason, right? They all come out for a reason at a particular time, much like all the Israeli stuff with the Israeli stabber serial killer, with the Israeli woman taking pictures of prisoners, Israeli spies. Israeli tanks rolling the Gaza Strip. Says Palestinians have repelled an Israeli attack in which several tanks crossed into southern parts of Gaza Strip. An Israeli soldier pierced through the bordering security fence. According to the Hamas security officials, 6 Israeli tanks crossed into the area, and one of them fired shells at a house near the town of Khan Yunis on Tuesday, reporters reported. In return, Palestinians fired mortars toward the Israelis, wounding 2 soldiers. The Israeli army confirmed the injuries, saying that the 2 soldiers were taken to the hospital. It says earlier Monday, Israeli troops opened fire on a group of Palestinians in eastern parts of Khan Yunis, killing 1 Palestinian. Israel has been launching regular attacks on Gaza ever since December 2008. And please join me for this, for the next part of this video series. Thank you.